Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. For today's video, we'll be taking an in-depth look into the 2016 Hyundai Veloster Rally Edition. They're only making 1,200 of these cars and basically takes the sportiness and handling one step above the turbo R-Spec. Obviously, there's some unique equipment, there's this cool looking color, and this is my first time driving a Veloster in general, so I was pretty excited. I mean, it's a fun little car. As always, this will be an in-depth review of the Veloster. We'll start it up, show the engine, get an exhaust clip, go over the performance data, take it on a thorough road test, and show you many of the unique aspects throughout the interior as well as exterior. So without further ado, let's go ahead and hop on in, start it up, let her run. The Rally Edition is finished exclusively in matte blue and features a black leather interior with plenty of blue accenting. While available on the Turbo, the smart key entry system and push-button ignition is not available on the Rally Edition, just like it's not on the R-Spec. But there's still a generous amount of standard features, and we'll cover all of those in the various unique bits as we go through the video. The Veloster features rack and pinion steering with speed proportional electric power assistance. The turbo-equipped cars are slightly different compared to the base car as they're tuned to deliver some extra feedback. It's also a bit faster to respond thanks to a tighter overall ratio of 13.9 to 1. It still doesn't deliver a ton of road feel, but it's smooth and very responsive to steering inputs. It takes 2.78 turns to lock and has a pretty small turning diameter of just 34 feet. Similar in concept to the system used on the Ford Focus ST we checked out recently, cars with the turbo come with a brake-based torque vectoring system. When entering a corner, the inside front brake is applied as needed, which essentially transfers more torque to the outside wheel, enhancing turn-in and control. It's routed through a 3-spoke leather-wrapped multifunction steering wheel with perforations across the sides, blue accent stitching, and grip bolsters at 10 and 2. While the Veloster Turbo is available with either a 6-speed manual or a new 7-speed dual-clutch transmission, the R-Spec and Rally Edition is only offered with the manual, along with a short-throw B&M Racing Sport shifter that delivers a tighter, more direct shift feel than the standard car. The shift knob is wrapped in leather and features some accent stitching and satin brightwork. Having driven a lot of manuals lately, the only thing I'd wish is that the clutch had more feel to it. There's nothing wrong with how it drives though. I mean, pedal placement is pretty good and it's light enough for quick action and rev matching. It takes just a moment to figure out where the grab point is, which is up at the top. Once you figure that out and get used to it, you'll have a lot of fun with it. A backup camera comes standard. So let's go ahead and flip on the projector, LED accented headlamps, fog lamps, and the hazards. The driver's side window is automatic down. Now let's go and check out the exterior, shall we? The Veloster was first introduced back in 2012, followed by the substantially more powerful turbo model in 2013. It's a 3-door hatchback with one large door on the driver's side and 2 smaller doors on the passenger side to aid ingress and egress over a conventional 2-door coupe. The unique styling and asymmetric layout is certainly a conversation starter, even more so when you add the turbo engine. With that, you gain more pronounced and aggressive fascias and side skirts. The changes certainly give it the appearance of a proper hot hatch, all while increasing overall length by 1.2 inches and widening the car by 0.6 inches for a more aggressive stance. Some of the key differences for cars equipped with the turbo motor include a large one-piece black horizontal grille, circular front fog lamps and rear reflectors, a prominent rear diffuser with center-mounted circular exhaust tips, signature LED accented headlamps, and a larger rear spoiler. This year, the Veloster also sees a couple of styling revisions, including the deletion of the hood's faux vent accents and a new dark gray grille surround. Of course, there's so many great offerings in this segment to choose from. I've driven a lot of them over the years, so finally getting behind the wheel of the Veloster was a great way to compare prior experiences. I've always thought this was the coolest little car, not necessarily in terms of performance, but because it's so different compared to anything else that's currently offered. There's no arguing that it's a polarizing design, but I like the fact that the car makes a statement and creates its own unique identity. For a daily driver, performance was more than adequate, coupled to great fuel economy and a ride that wasn't overly stiff but still felt well controlled. Some of that is due to a handful of suspension changes included with the Rally Edition, but we'll talk about all of those in just a bit. If you're looking for something that's fun and reasonably priced, the Veloster is certainly one to consider. It's offered in a number of trim levels that include the $18,000 entry model, the $21,600 R-Spec, the $22,600 Turbo, and the $23,950 Rally Edition. The latter is a new model for 2016 that's limited to just 1,200 units, each of which will come with a handful of unique upgrades both cosmetically and mechanically. Aside from the matte blue paint and lightweight wheels, the colored accents across the front fascia and side skirts found in the R-Spec and Turbo were replaced by faux carbon fiber trim. They look quite convincing. Including destination delivery are tester stickers for $24,775, which seems quite reasonable considering the standard equipment and level of performance you get, not to mention the uniqueness. Of course, when shopping, you might want to also consider the Volkswagen GTI, Ford Fiesta ST, and Mini Cooper S, among other 3- and 5-door hatchbacks, some of which offer a more well-rounded driving profile when it comes to acceleration and handling limits, but may not offer the same level of standard equipment, so it's definitely worth comparing. The Rally Edition comes exclusively with a set of matte black lightweight raised wheels. They measure 18 by 7.5 inches and shave a total of 20 pounds compared to the alloys equipped on the Turbo and the R-Spec. That's a nice drop in unsprung weight, which leads to greater steering response and overall agility. For 2016, all Velosters fitted with 18-inch wheels are now wrapped in 225/40 tires. That's an increase in width by 10 mm compared to prior offerings. The Rally Edition's Kumo all-season tires are able to hold around 0.85 g of lateral acceleration, but a proper set of summer tires should boost that grip somewhere in the neighborhood of 0.9 g. As far as the brakes, all Velosters equipped with the turbo engine use 11.8-inch internally ventilated discs in front and 10.3-inch solid discs in the rear, coupled to single-piston calipers at each corner. The front discs are actually 0.8 inches larger in diameter than the base car to cope with the increased performance capabilities. 4-wheel, 4-channel ABS with electronic brake force distribution comes standard. With this setup, the Veloster is able to stop from 60 miles an hour in about 123 feet, which is right on par with the class. While the R-Spec uses higher spring rates and a stiffer transmission mount compared to the Turbo, the Rally Edition takes things a bit further with even firmer springs, uprated dampers, and a thicker front stabilizer bar. Even though the suspension is quite firm, surprisingly the ride was never too harsh or unsettling. It felt pretty solid and stable overall and handled great. Underpinning the car is an independent McPherson strut front suspension consisting of coil springs, twin-tube shock absorbers, and a 27mm stabilizer bar compared to the R-Spec's 22mm stabilizer bar. The rear suspension is composed of a torsion beam with coil springs and monotube shock absorbers. The Rally Edition is powered by the same turbocharged 1.6-liter 4-cylinder that you find in the Veloster Turbo and R-Spec. Along with an aluminum block and head, the engine features dual overhead cams, 4 valves per cylinder, dual variable valve timing, and direct fuel injection. The compression ratio is rated at 9.5 to 1, while max engine speed peaks at just above 6,500 RPM. Hyundai also uses a twin-scroll turbocharger for reduced lag over a single-scroll design. It's a responsive little engine with just minor turbo lag under full throttle launches. Thanks to 18 psi of boost, it develops 201 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 195 pound-feet of torque between 1,750 and 4,500 RPM. It's quite a substantial bump in both horsepower and torque compared to the base car's naturally aspirated 1.6-liter engine, which develops 132 horsepower and 120 pound-feet of torque. With the added power, the turbo is able to hit 60 in just under 7 seconds and accelerate to an electronically limited top speed of 139 miles per hour. With the lighter weight wheels, that time could even be a couple tenths quicker perhaps. There are quicker competitors out there, such as the Volkswagen GTI, but again, the Veloster's price, it's still a great offering. With the turbo motor comes a unique intake and exhaust system that, combined with an electronic sound enhancing feature known as active sound design, the car sounds quite good. I wish there was a more pronounced exhaust note considering the car's sporty demeanor, but nonetheless, it's a pleasing interior note. The Veloster carries a 13.2 gallon fuel tank and is able to run on regular unleaded gasoline. EPA estimated fuel economy numbers range between 25 miles to a gallon in the city and 33 on the highway, with the manual transmission averaging around 28 miles to a gallon. Even though the Veloster's overall design is 4 years old now, it still feels relatively fresh and modern with an attractive interior that fits well within its class and price point. Like the exterior, the interior styling is very unique, especially with the asymmetric door layout and the Rally Edition's blue accents. If equipped with the turbo, the outer front seat bolsters are embroidered with the turbo logo. To access the rear seat, you can either use the rear door on the passenger side or move the driver's seat forward. Generally speaking, the Veloster has a nice interior. There's a thoughtful amount of soft touch material where it matters the most, including the door panels, armrests, center console, and even knee pads on either side of the center console. The rest of the plastics used feel high quality and are even textured across the upper portions of the doors and dash for some added visual pizzazz. The front seats were actually redesigned this year to offer greater lateral bolstering and improved overall comfort. They keep you snugly in place, and while they're manually adjusting, the driver's seat features powered lumbar. The steering wheel is manual tilting and telescoping, the headrests are adjustable, while a little arm mounted to the driver's side B-pillar can be extended to ease seatbelt reach when climbing in, being that side follows more of the traditional coupe layout. Since it's based on the more stripped out R-Spec, the Rally Edition is not available with some of the convenience and luxury goodies that you would get on the turbo. It comes pretty close, but you're missing the heated seats, the keyless entry, an electroluminescent instrument cluster, rear parking sensors, panoramic sunroof, and the navigation system. Still, I love the layout. It's very simple and easy to use. Nothing complicated to distract you from driving. The ergonomics are very good, and the door armrests are positioned perfectly to lay your whole arm across in comfort, something you don't see that often. The large grab handles are also a nice touch. The glove box is damped and offers a pretty decent amount of storage space to go along with the modest pockets in the door panels. Overall interior room is pretty decent for the front occupants. It's a bit tight in the back seat, but we'll talk about that later in the video. As far as safety, the Veloster has 6 airbags throughout the interior, including dual front airbags, 2 seat-mounted front and side airbags, and side curtain airbags for the front and the rear. Overall visibility is pretty decent. There's a little bit of a blind spot at the rear on either side of the hatch, but the backup camera definitely comes in handy when reversing, and you pretty much get used to it after a while. It's not too bad.
Now let's go and see how she sounds, both sitting still and on the road. Alrighty, next we'll go ahead and shut her up and check out the various interior features.
The Rally Edition comes standard with a potent 450-watt Dimension premium audio system featuring 8 speakers, an 8-inch subwoofer, and a variety of media inputs including iPod, USB, and auxiliary jacks. Satellite radio is also standard along with SiriusXM Travel-Link for 2016. Everything comes wrapped in a 7-inch touchscreen multimedia system. Navigation is optional but not equipped in our tester. If equipped, it features a different layout. We've talked about similar systems in other recent Hyundai reviews. But this is a pretty nice system overall. I don't think it's really that outdated. It's easy to use, it's quick to go between different menus, and still offers a lot of features. You have hands-free Bluetooth technology both with audio streaming and telephone. You can also stream internet radio like Pandora.
Up top is your side curtain airbags, there's grip handles and padded visors. To the right hand side of the visors there's also an auxiliary sunshade, you have illumination up top, a card holder, and vanity mirrors. Right above that is your hands-free Bluetooth microphone.
The rearview mirror is manually dimming and features some of your BlueLink features such as roadside assistance. We've talked about that in previous videos. Up top here you have a padded sunglass container, controls for your interior illumination, and reading lamps. Continuing down the center stack, right beneath the infotainment system are your climate controls. Very simple and easy to use. The dial in the middle right here corresponds to your temperature and fan speed, AC, max AC, front and rear defrost and recycling in different zones to the left. Off to the far right is your traction control. As we continue on back, there's 2 cup holders, a mechanical parking brake, and padded armrest right here, again with the blue accent stitching. Open it up, it's a 2-tier design. You have a small storage tray up top, and at the very bottom, a deeper well. As far as the steering wheel, to the right hand side you have your cruise control, and at the very bottom your trip computer and driver information controls for the digital display in the middle of the instrument cluster. To the left hand side are your audio controls, hands-free telephone and voice commands.
Please say a command after the beep.
Help.
Help. Available commands are radio, iPod, XM.
Behind the steering wheel on the right are your wiper controls, to the left, lighting and turn signals.
Alrighty.
Now let's go ahead and shut her down. We'll check out the back seat.
So obviously the Veloster's layout is pretty cool. I mean, you have this big door over here, you have 2 smaller doors over there. So depending on which side of the car you're looking at, the car almost has a different personality. It's very unique, and I haven't seen something like this in quite a while. So definitely hats off to Hyundai for stepping out of the box and creating something different. You can seat up to 4 people in the Veloster. Back here you have 2 cup holders, a little storage tray. There's a little storage net right there, but that's pretty much it as far as like places to put things. Like we talked about up front, the interior room is pretty decent. I mean, if you're around 6 feet or so, I mean, you're definitely going to be more than comfortable up front. Back here, though, it gets a little bit tight. I mean, you have this drastically sloping roof line, and while it looks really, really cool on the outside, you sacrifice a lot of backseat space. I'm 5'10", and with a comfortable seating position for myself up front, I probably have between 1 inch and 1.5 inches of wiggle room. Headspace, maybe about 1 inch or so, and to really take full advantage of it, you're going to want to lean your head back towards the headrest. Like this is basically the portion that you have where the glass is. There's some black tint strips right there so you don't basically cook in the sun. But where the headliner comes down right here, it's a little bit too low for me to want to lean forward. My head just starts to touch the headliner. So if you're 5'10" and over, it's definitely usable back here, but you're going to be more comfortable by just kind of kicking back and relaxing up against the headrest. As far as other amenities, you have illumination up top, a coat hook, side curtain airbags, child seat anchors, and this seat folds down flat, so if you need some extra cargo space, but we'll talk about that next.
General comfort is pretty good. I mean, biggest hindrance back here is just going to be interior room, but if you're on the smaller side, this would definitely be a comfortable vehicle for its Class 2 travel in. I mean, there's decent padding in the lower cushion, there's good lower back support. I mean, you can't ask for much else. But yeah, that's about it, so let's go ahead and hop out and check out trunk space.
Being a hatchback, the Veloster is able to carry a pretty good amount of cargo. The lift-over height is a little high, but it features a deep storage well that's made even more practical by folding down the rear seat. A removable privacy cover is also included. Behind the seat, there's 15.5 cubic feet worth of space. For longer or larger items, just pull the tabs on either side of the seat's backrest to fold them down. Space then jumps to 34.7 cubic feet. You can easily return the seats back to their normal positions by pulling on the seat belts, making things a bit easier and convenient when working out back. Underneath the floor, there's no spare tire, but a tire inflation and repair kit. There's illumination for low light working, cargo tie-downs, and anchor points for children's car seats.
Well everyone, I hope you enjoyed the in-depth look at the 2016 Hyundai Veloster Rally Edition. Be sure to stay tuned next time, there's always a lot more where that came from. Take care everyone.